Can you start?
Yeah. So you're holding here a Siman base.
Okay.
Hanitzah from the cover, but Ma Mekanech Shabbos, someone has to use the washroom. So what is he allowed to wipe himself? What's the torah? What's the issue? So the cover starts off. Mishum Kvoid Abriyos, Hetiru L'Taltal Avonim L'Kaneach. Avonim stones are usually muktzah, but that's what they used to wipe themselves in those days. They used stones. So the matir to be L'Taltal Avonim to remove stones L'Kaneach Afil L'Aloisam L'Gag even to bring it up to the roof to have a torah-study. Because it was a big torah to bring them up to the roof, still we're not going to do it because of for the breeze. And the fellow listen to the guy, even to have a torah-study muti. I just want to stop there 1 second to explain what does it mean for the breeze. Everyone, how do you understand for the breeze? What's the heter? Is the heter to do certain malachos, say Shabbos, say other Yisuri, we find the Gemara a lot, because of K'fay Dabriyas. What does that mean? So, most people learn K'fay Dabriyas is, you shouldn't be embarrassed with somebody else, right? That's what K'fay Dabriyas means. But when you learn the seif, the Kaneach, no one has any idea what's going on. Right? Someone that doesn't have something to wipe himself with. He's embarrassed with somebody else. He's not embarrassed with somebody else. No one knows.
He himself is embarrassed.
But even for himself, he's covered in.
So what does it mean? So what's covered in mean? How would
dignity, self-dignity.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Covered has no shaykhs to what other people are going to think about me and are embarrassed. Covered means self-dignity. A person has a self-dignity, and if he has to be a certain way and he feels not good about himself, that takes away his self-dignity. Now it could also be that if people look at him doing wearing a certain thing, whatever it is, also will take away his self-dignity. But K'vay HaBriyos does not mean what other people are going to think about me. K'vay HaBriyos means self-dignity. Myself. There's different ways that can affect it. You see from this seif, it has nothing to do with other people, the way they can perceive what I'm doing. Because here no one has any idea what's happening. Still, for the self-dignity, will matter certain things on Shabbos.
The one thing I saw when I was living it shouldn't say brachas and stuff if they're not clean. So
correct.
That doesn't seem to come into that.
That's not the reason why of it. That's not the reason why of it, no. Yeah, it's not the reason of it. The reason is because of K'vay self-dignity. It says chayvus also. It's not just. We see the Chazal matter certain things with self-dignity. We see from there that person has to have self-dignity. Right? Unfortunately, in the world today, self-dignity is not such a common thing. People, they maybe about a guy, people think that self-dignity means gaiva, but no shaykhs. Self-dignity is to respect yourself, who you are, what you are. Even though you're not about gaiva, nothing to do with gaiva. In the world today, you find a lot of gaiva, but self-dignity you don't find. People behind closed doors will do anything. That's self-dignity. That's what you think of it. If you hold of yourself as a kosher person, you wouldn't do certain things even though no one's looking, because it doesn't pass for you to do it. So K'vay HaBriyos is that Chazal, where matter certain things, means self-dignity. So therefore, for a person to walk around like that, it bothers himself, it takes away his self-dignity. Therefore, the matter to go ahead and be metaltal avonim and even to bring it to a roof, even though it's torah-study or mutter. Someone who has a set place for his beis hakisei, he's allowed to bring in a lot of stones at one time, even though he doesn't need all of them now. And the reason is because even though he's not going to use it now, maybe he'll use it tomorrow or later on Shabbos, a different time. That's only if it's a makayim miyuchad beis hakisei. And it just does it wherever there's a place to do it. There's no makam miyuchid. So then machnis imoy kishir buchna katana. You're allowed to bring in a buchna is something you used to smash. Pestle, yeah. Pestle, yeah.
No.
Buchna katana. That's how much you're allowed to take. No. Not more than that. That means a one-time usage. You're allowed to bring for a one-time usage. Now that's all regular avonim that are muktzah. The nikr be'evan shekam chuboy. If it's nikr that the evan was already used, so it's already set aside for this malacha, mutter lachnisai, the allowed to bring it in because it's not muktzah anymore. The fact that it's nikr, you can see it was used already. Then already it's mutter lachnisai filu gadol harbe, even though it's very big. Filu him harbe, the malay hayad, it's more than malay hayad. Mutter lita kulam, the allowed to take all of them. Kivin shekam chubahem huknu lekach. Since it was used already once for this usage, so it's already mukhin. It's not muktzah.
Does it have to be mukhan before Shabbos stuff?
Before Shabbos, of course.
So how do we know that it's mukhan before Shabbos? You find it
on Shabbos.
No.
How do you know it's mukhan before Shabbos? The Shabbos morning you find it, maybe some use it Friday night.
He brought it in the same way that he would with that heter.
I don't know if that's a good question. Unless you're going to say that you can't make a mukhan on Shabbos, the chuk's beresh mash is a muktzah.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And once they've been used, there's no issue anymore at all of being metal to them. Like
right.
Let's say you wanted to take them away or
right. It's not muktzah anymore.
Move them out of that place.
Correct. It's not muktzah anymore. Correct. We'll see in the Magen Avram. Then once you have this, it's not muktzah. There's always a tipple anymore. It says the Magen Avram. The Ramah
used. It means now that you're going to reuse it?
Yeah. You use the other side or we'll see soon. We'll see exactly what's going on here soon. And it says in the Ramah, the dafka lechatzer mutter l'taltel avonim, only lechatzer you're allowed to move the avonim and move the stones because it's a shus yachid. But in the carmelists, even though it's also only an issa d'Rabbanan, who are not matter the issa of titul in the carmelists for kvod avris. Only the titul muktzah we are matter. Yeshavim the fill of the carmelists for shus yachid nami shari to ha nami eini rak issa d'Rabbanan mishkum kvod avris itiru. So machlokes is they were matter the issa tiltul mecharos was just a yachid for kvod habriyas. Even though they were matter the issa tiltul, rav dafka they were matter the issa of karmelos was just a yachid.
Is that a general call according to that data? That kvod habriyas is a hunter for issa d'Rabbanan? General call?
All issa d'Rabbanan, correct? Yes. According to the Yashemim.
Right.
According to the Yashemim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Says the Magen Avram. So the Mechaber said, if you have a Mokem Meyuchid, you're allowed to bring in even more than for one-time use, because they use it over Shabbos. Says the Magen Avram, why should we stayru loy arvis? If you next man Shabbos, use it in the morning, but it means it's like this. I'll speak outside, then we'll see it inside. The Machlokes is the Bach and the Magen Avram, how to learn this. The Bach learns that the only time you're allowed to do it is if it's miyuchid to you personally. So these stones no one else is going to use besides you. That's the only time you're allowed to go ahead and take more than malay hayat. That's the Bach. The Magen Avram argues. He says the opposite. He says that if it's miyuchid for you and for other people, then you're allowed to bring malay hayat. Even though maybe being tereach for other people, it's still fine. But if it's miyuchid only for you, then you're not allowed to bring malay hayat. And the reason is because if it's miyuchid only for you, you should take care of it before Shabbos. That's basically the machlokes of the Magen Avram and the Bach. They hold opposites. The Bach holds if it's miyuchid only for you, it's mutter. If it's miyuchid for you and a chein, it's aser, because you're being tereach for other people. And the Magen Avram holds the opposite. If it's miyuchid for other people and you, then it's not mechut to bring before Shabbos. You never know how much is going to get used up. But on Shabbos, you're allowed to bring it. But if it's miyuchid only for you, then it's also to bring it on Shabbos because you should have brought it before Shabbos.
Where do you see that last little nekuda?
What?
Because in the Matzah Shekel it seems to say that if it's miyuchid for you and everybody else, then you could still bring. It doesn't matter.
You're allowed to bring according to the Magen Avram.
Right.
It's the end of the Magen Avram.
According to the Magen Avram. But if it's miyuchid only for you, you can. We'll see the end of the Magen Avram.
The last three lines.
We'll see the end of the Magen Avram.
Last three lines.
Let's see inside. I spoke to that because we go back and forth here. So says the Magen Avram, "Shemishtayru le'arvis v'kanech b'hem shachris v'nir l'dachim prusha im nichnes tamid l'mokem echad v'im kein af she'yishtayru yochel l'kanech b'hem shachris v'af she'acherim nichnasim gam kein l'sham." Even though other people also come in here, v'yesh lachos she'yitalu l'kanech V'kamakay mishari l'hakas n'rayod. We'll have a tilted l'ay l'tzerich. It's not tilted not for a tzerich. Why? The mali hu bayacher. Who cares if it's going to be you or it's going to be somebody else? It's always mutter. The light dummy, the seif Siman Gimel, but there it says that when you're emptying a oitzer, the room to sit, everyone has to do it for themselves. Over here, when I'm taking him away hayad, I'm doing one tircha. I'm carrying a whole bunch at one time. Over there, in the case of Shana Gimel, the reason why you're not allowed to do it for somebody else is because when you finish doing it for yourself, you're not allowed to continue to do it for somebody else. He has to do it himself. But over here, I'm doing one tircha the whole time. Therefore, it's mutter. That's why it's mutter. And another reason why it's mutter over here is because maybe you yourself are going to use it. Maybe someone else is not going to end up using it, and you're doing it for yourself. There's a chashash, maybe somebody else may also use it. Therefore, it's mutter. Halacha-theory. Umasha kasav eilam bakum kavua. What does it mean? It doesn't have bakum kavua. Ein shehalach pam bakum zeh, upam bakum acher. Ve'im kenim yelach achkach bakum acher. Limts the total tchila shaloi l'tzarich. Therefore, if it's you don't use the same place, therefore you're not allowed to take more than one-time usage. V'chein machnisay kim le'buchna l'hachi diktik. Because of him, aim like Malcolm Kavu. Can't go to Biskay Rosh, halacha-theory, and the Sukkah, fine. But he says Samach l'beisai. Then we go to the. How about if it's Kavua only for you? He says Samach l'beisai. She'ain sum adam achar nichnas l'sham. Nobody else goes into there, which the Bach says that's the heter over here. He said the opposite. Osir l'achnes l'Shabbos avonim. You're not allowed to bring in stones on Shabbos. The Havalei Hazminam Me'esmol. You should have done it yesterday. Canal the Loike Bach Ayin Sham. Not like the Bach. So the Bach says, if it's miyuchet for me, that's the head that I'm allowed to bring it in. Miyuchet for other people also, it's awesome. The Magen Avraham holds the opposite. He holds that if it's miyuchet for other people, it's mutter. If it's miyuchet just for you, it's also because you should have taken care of it before Shabbos.
What would he say if you forgot?
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Even though it's this Sunnah Rabbanan.
Correct. Yaralach. You should have taken care of it.
Wow.
Yeah, Magen Avraham holds Yaralach.
So would this apply to? I guess we'll talk about it. When you don't have toilet paper, it's going to be toilet. It's going to be it will be totally on the machloek.
Correct. The same thing. Correct. Same thing. We'll see soon. We'll see in the next Magen Avraham that Avonim is not on the gate today, but you have toilet paper. So we got to bring a Shabbos toilet paper to the bathroom. So is there a heter? According to the Magen Avraham, if the bathroom is only meant for you, that's a miyuchet for you.
It's also only if the bathroom is a different reshus, right? Like if the bathroom's in your house, it would still be an issue if it's the bathroom's in your house.
No, the problem with toilet paper is because you carry toilet paper on Shabbos. See, all you have is regular toilet paper. You don't have the Shabbos tissues. You don't have to rip. So what do you do?
Someone who has there's no such thing as a bathroom unless you have your office, maybe in your office.
Right, so that's a question. Maybe you have in your bedroom. That's you and your wife use it. Maybe miyuchet.
Is that
you and your wife is miyuchet for you or only you or that's
no, that's called miyuchet. That's called miyuchet to both of you. Maybe that's enough. The heter over here is the issue of the Magen Avraham is if it's miyuchet only for you, then take care of it before Shabbos. If people use it, so then anyway you're going to need more. We're going to take care of it before Shabbos. I have no idea how much to put there before Shabbos. If other people come in and use it, I don't know if you could say your house has a din that's not miyuchet for you. Because your house, you take care of it. You, your wife, someone takes care of it before Shabbos, and make sure there's toilet paper in all the bathrooms. I would say our houses today are called miyuchet. That's what I would say. I wouldn't give such a heter.
Miyuchet for who though?
Yeah, for your family. For your family.
Right.
But if that miyuchet means you never know who's coming in there, other people come in there, so you never know how much to prepare. But in your house, you know how much to prepare. You know how much. If it's a shul, in the family, you never know. People come and go, so you can't say should have prepared before Shabbos because anyway it gets used up constantly. But in your house, where you know who's using it, maybe you don't have the heter. Maybe that's called miyuchet. I don't know.
If you go like the Magen Avraham.
If you go to Magen Avraham.
Let's say like Magen Avraham and it's miyuchat for you, you're in the washroom, and there is nothing there to use. So could you call out and ask somebody else to get something from their washroom and bring it to you?
Sure.
It's not muksa to you.
It's not muksa, though. Tissues are muksa.
Yeah, whatever they've got ready miyuchat for them, it's not muksa for them. So it's not.
Oh, you mean in Avonim, you mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. In our day, it's not a day because tissues are anyway are muksa. It's not a problem. Right, so the Mishnah group brings down over here the Rabbi, which is Meko, and we'll see. Let's see. He says in the first that the base is called Miyuchad. Let's see. Yeah, about that. So look at the Mishnah group. See cotton base at the end of it. So because of Magen Avraham, like a little after the base from the Sharatzim. Kosta Program Shabbos.
Yeah.
The Hod Matirim. See it? It's on the Seif Cotton. Kosta Program Avraham. It's right after the base from the Sharatzim. Kosta Program Shabbos. The Hod Matirim which I say Kavul Hachna Shamavon b'Shabbos. Hayadafku Shein Miyuchad Lo La'atzmai. Echnas Misham Gam Acher Misham. L'Hayel L'Heichem Erev Shabbos. The Chosha Shema Yitlu Acher. Other people will take it also. Or Prat, if we were to keep the Shabbat, the Turkhu, the Hachin, the Turkhu to go prepared over there, Shabbos, the Chayki, Aval, in Hoya Samach Lay the Beisai, the Gamma Yuchad by the Atzmai, the Einich Nasan Achelim, the Sham, Vafilum Mibne Beisai, he says, even people from your house don't go in there, Ein Lahate Lahachna Shamavanim Klal, the Hoya the Hachim Esmo. He says in the first, if you've been a Beisai, don't go in there. Okay, so the first, even if you don't have today. And then he says, "Rabbi mitzadad lahaka b'zer v'chol gavni v'chadas alavush v'atam mishum le'masik inish adayte lahachin sham avonim erev Shabbos." Person doesn't remember to appear avonim erev Shabbos. So you have a kula. A person stopped and got to bring in the Shabbos toilet paper. Right? I don't know if you can machmar him because of the Magen Avraham. He should have remembered to bring before Shabbos.
Only in a very private.
Right. The first one has to be private.
Even your house, the washroom that's in the general rooms, right, in the living outside.
The Magen Avraham wouldn't ask them.
Those wouldn't be.
Right.
The only thing you might consider would be the one in
the bedroom.
The bedroom.
Yeah.
But the opposite would be according to the Bach, because the Bach seems to say that you need to have only this whole opposite.
No, the Bach says that's only a heter to bring more on Shabbos, not to start again. According to the Bach, the head of the seif is you're allowed to bring more only if you don't want to use it. If other people use it, you're allowed to bring more. There's no din according to the Bach if you forgot to bring the Hayil al-Hachim of Shabbos. According to the Bach, there's never such a din that Hayil al-Hachim of Shabbos. No such issue b'chlal. According to the Bach, no matter what happens, you're okay. Even according to the Magen Avraham, the Sad L'Hakel, and especially the Ali Rabba, anyways, Meko. He says if a person doesn't have a mind to prepare before Shabbos. So this heter, we'll see in a second, the heter to use toilet paper. If you got to bring Shabbos paper, yes, I'm listening. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to say that we tell them we should have prepared it before Shabbos.
For example, Rabbi Kiva here also, if she comes out of the office, says, "I want to make all of our shishaka." But if we saw Rabbi again, we should move to the
Shabbos. Okay, so we have a bunch of material. Let's say among the rocks of cotton base, from Nikir be'even, Kosta b'shol to Gebayim, B'kosha. Ma'ishtem v'cherius, then Yosef aleim b'yediyah, Mishari apish and Nikir be'hem, V'shkosa sivashin chesif chof. The Shilta Gebayim is bothered that the Mechaber says that when does it not become muktzah d'avonim? When it's nikir on the even that it was used. So when we learned it, some of us may have understood, it's just showing us to know if it was used or not. What does it mean nikir al even? How else do you know if it was used or not? The Magen Avraham and Shilta Gebayim are not learning that way. They're saying even if you know for sure it was used, but it's not nikir on the even that it was used, it stays muktzah. There has to be, in order to make the stone not muktzah on Shabbos, there has to be that it's a nicker from the stone itself that was once used. Otherwise, even if you miyachid it, otherwise even if you used it once before, but it's not nicker, it's also to use it on Shabbos. And that's the Shulchan Gebarim's kasha. Why? You had the chirya shadakel. If you miyachid it before Shabbos to sit on it, it's not muktzah anymore. Even though it's not nicker in the chirya shadakel that it's meant to sit on it, it's still not muktzah. So why over here they have to have a heker that have to be recognizable in the stone itself that it's set aside for that. That's the kasha. Now the kasha, Shulchan Gebarim, the kasha, ma'ishna mechirius, the miyashav aleim b'boyd yoyim, sorry, alpha pisha and nicker behem, ma'ashakata sevishin ches and sichvach. The actual man says the Shulchan Gebarim, the Eved Gedoylo Einai Medes L'Kinuach. A big stone is not meant L'Kinuach, and therefore you have to have more than just Tama Achana. You have to have a heker in the stone. Chirius Adekel is meant to sit on. Therefore setting it aside is enough. Big stones are not set aside for that, and therefore you have to have a heker on it. The Sharavonim, small ones, the small ones. So here he's saying a chiddush. It says in the Mechaber that you have to have a heker on the stone. It doesn't say after a big stone, even small stones. So the way the Shulchan Gebarim is learning is that by small stones, if it's nicker on one of them, that all of them around are become mutter also, even though it's not nicker on each one separately. That's the chiddush of Shulchan Gebarim we see among Avram Avi's. The Nakir is Suma Nicker, the Oz Mutter Talk of Avanim HaSmuchim Loi, even the ones next to it. The Hubeid Al Achayim Sha'af Hey Bukhnu L'Kach. So the Shulchan Gebarim has a heter. If one of the small stones is nicker, it was used for it, then you're allowed to use all the stones around it because it shows on all the stones that it's mutter. The Dafik shall yichter a ferish l'kach. Our yichter mutter, if you say befurish am bim yachet, then it's mutter. Am yachet evel of tzei b'agoyze, board am yachet ukigoyin, right? Am yachet evel of tzei b'agoyze, board am yachet niyar chalak, l'kanech boy the shari. You take a blank piece of paper and you miyachet it. For that, also it's okay, even though niyar chalak we saw was muktzah machmat chesar kiss, but if you miyachet it, it works. The linear says the Magen Avraham, the cooking-bishul leisa, the Mishnah Mechirius, Kimish Yashav Aleihem, by Yoim, Inicha Bim Kaimam, Kedem Yashav Aleihem, Oid, they have a muktzah. Aval Even, Shekinech Boy, Veshlicha Shuv, L'Hayidaitei, Ola Nashmish. Says the Magen Avraham, the reason why here you need nicker is because by Chirius, once you set it aside to sit on it, you're going to sit on it. But by the Avanim, it's the opposite. Once you use it once, you throw it away, and you finish with it. Who says you can use it a second time? You most probably will not use it a second time.
It's almost like halacha-theory.
Right. Therefore, you have to have a heker on it in order for it not to become muktzah. Therefore, you don't have head of the Shulchan Gebarim. So that's the teretz of the Shulchan Gebarim. Now, to speak out quickly, so this is all talking about Avodah, which is not so negaya today. But the big shadow today is, the famous shadow is, if you forgot to bring a Shabbos paper, could you use toilet paper or not? So, most of the poskim are mekel. They say if someone's stuck to the bathroom, and he forgot to bring a regular paper, so what does he do? So he wants to use a toilet paper. The problem is, you're not allowed to rip it.
The shalat mitzvah?
No, not muktzah. Shalat is kriya. Muktzah or matter. Even though partial toilet paper should be muktzah, toilet paper should be muktzah because you can't use it on Shabbos.
Regular paper is muktzah.
What do you mean?
Right, a piece of paper.
Yeah, but correct. But toilet paper is muktzah because you can't use it. You're not allowed to rip it on Shabbos. For a different reason. Regular paper may be muktzah to someone kids.
Yeah.
This is muktzah because in order to use it, you have to cut it. And you're not allowed to cut it on Shabbos. So that's a Shabbos. What happens if you're stuck? You're allowed to use the regular toilet paper. So most of the person say, what you should try to do is not rip it. Use it, stick it in the toilet, flush it, and then you hope it rips as it's going down. That's what most of the person say. Don't rip it yourself. If it's not shy to do it that way, you need a few pieces, so what do you do? So most of the person say you're allowed to rip it, as long as you're not makpid on the size. we'll see when we get the Shin Mem, the whole shadow about Kareya, ripping. Ripping is Mr. Daraisa, but it's only if you're ripping it, you're ripping two things, and I'm ripping it to a size. I need both of them to be a certain size. If I'm ripping something off of a roll, I'm not makbid on the size, I'm not makbid on where it's coming from, that could be his only Issa D'Rabbanan. That is the rights of Korea.
So if you're in a situation like that, you don't rip at the perforation.
Right, but not the perforation. Perforation is it's meant to be ripped here, it's worse.
Right.
So you should be try to rip down the perforations, therefore you're not makbid on the size, and then it's mutter b'shachat chak.
What about machinery? Does that help you too?
If you could do machinery.
Rip it with machinery.
You could do with machinery.
If you can hold your elbow.
Yeah.
Like this and then...
The problem you do with the machinery, usually you rip on the perforations. So the seeds.
Can you make the argument though with that in a way perforations is better because it's already partial?
No. Perforations is worse because then you're doing it on the size.
Then you're holding the size.
But not to use the perforations. And to do the shit is very complicated. Therefore, most of the places are matter if you're stuck. If you're stuck, you have no choice than to rip it and use it. I'll cover up use. I'm not saying it's a person should be very makbid to make sure he has beforehand. We're talking about situation where you didn't realize it.
Yeah, but how far does covenant brios go? I mean, like sometimes you're in, let's say you're in a hotel washroom, like a lobby washroom,
right?
And there's all kinds of things that can go wrong there.
Right, it's a problem. You have the automatic things.
Yeah,
automatic flushing. So that's a problem.
So does covenant brios trump all that? Or?
It's interesting you're saying that. I was just recently in a Trump hotel, and we were talking about the bathrooms because they're all electrical, and they had set up. Yeah, it was a convention. They had set up there in certain bathrooms, Shabbos toilet, big letters, where you could use it. I'm not sure what they did because I went in there and it flushed by itself. So I don't know what the Shabbos toilet was. It was a mistake. I don't know. But the person who speak about it, they speak about even more. They speak about that if you go in, the light turns on.
Probably in the hospitals today.
Hospitals, so I see the bathroom. What should you do? The only way you can do it. So a lot of places are going to make them. I'll cover up here, they make them because you're not doing it. It's maybe a situation, but who says you need it? You can do it without the light. There's different halacha-theory. If someone's stuck. If someone's stuck in a place and there's no other bathroom besides one that the light turns on, there's different halacha-theory. Not saying everything is mutter.
Would it be a deraisa? Because usually covenant brios is only extended to
the Rabbana. The question is a deraisa. So it says a deraisa. It's a situation. The most of this is a situation. Right? That's the most of this.
Situation in Michal.
That's the question. Maybe the Eichel
The difference of situation is a deraisa or derabanan? In other words,
situation is derabanan. If the situation is derabanan, then it's only is a derabanan.
Even if the maisa is a deraisa,
doesn't make a difference. It's coming out. The situation is I'm doing one thing, A and B happens.
Correct.
If A is deraisa,
it makes no difference if the
A and B is deraisa.
So then it
doesn't make a difference. If you're Einim is Chaven, right? Let's say you're Einim is Chaven. You're doing A and B. You're doing A is mutter. B is Mr. Deraisa. It's mutter to do on Shabbos. Einim is Chaven is mutter. Even though the B is a Deraisa, but not the Chaven.
That's the Gemara, what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah, that's a situation.
Yeah.
That's a situation. So we have a situation. That's sure going to happen. That could become a Mischaven. If you're a Mischaven, then it's also a Deraisa. Situation like Nichalei. Maybe it's only the Rabbanon. Right? So that's the whole shayla here. If it's called a situation, it's called doing a b'chlal. Because what are you doing? You're opening it, you're walking in, and the light's going on. Are you doing a maisa? You're walking. You're walking. That's what you're doing.
But how far you take it? If I open the fridge and the light's going to go on, I'm also.
That's something else. Because you're opening the fridge.
And if I'm walking into a room.
No. When you're opening the fridge, you're opening the button here. When you go into the room, you're not doing anything. You're walking. It's an emotional attack. You're walking. Every emotional attack is a question of is my ma'aser b'chlal.
I'm walking.
I'm walking. The emotional attack goes off. That's not. Maybe it's not called a ma'aser b'chlal. That's
we spoke about this with at the kotel. They have the kotel time, which is always on, even on Shabbos.
Right.
And you're walking,
Right.
causing it to film. You're just walking now.
All these questions, all motion detectors, that's the same shaila. It's called your meiser.
But there's a big difference. The camera is going on all the time, whether you're going to be in the picture or not. The camera is being filmed, right? Notice it's either filming a blank screen or just you're walking into the room.
It's on all the time? Or just
it's on all the time.
It's on all the time.
The camera, the security, I mean, it's always on, and you come into the picture. But,
or motion detectors on the streets where there's lights.
Right.
You're walking. Garages, you're walking.
Yeah,
that's also a shaila.
The only question is an if-but lay. Do you care? Like, I can walk home without it.
But besides that, the whole shaila is called your meiser at all. There's a motion detector called my meiser. I'm walking. I'm not doing a meiser. If I'm walking and the motion detector detects it and turns on a light, who said that's called my doing? So it's not even called your meiser.
Who else would it be, though? I mean, it's going on because of you. Right?
It's going on because of you. I'm not doing a meiser. I have to do a meiser. I have to do something.
If you obey,
is that called a meiser?
I mean, you have a choice to walk on the other side of the street, right?
That could be, but I have to be doing a meiser. I could avoid it.
Another area.
But there is no footpath on that side. So what you do?
No, I'm walking.
There's
no, but I'm not. It's not.
There is no.
How much I'm walking?
In my street, there is none. And on this side,
when I'm walking,
all the lights start automatically.
Every house, all you do is
take
a step. That's a meiser.
Yeah, but that's a meiser of walking.
Okay, so
hear what I'm saying? I'm doing a meiser of walking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not turning on the light. I'm doing a meiser of walking. I'm not doing a meiser turning on the light. So he says, situation of walking turns on the light? Sure not. I have to do a meiser of turning on the light. My meiser of walking is not what's turning on the light.
So most people are making most.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said that start them lahakol when someone's stuck in the hospital and has to use the washroom to put that start them lahakol. I'm not saying it's lechatchila. It's 100% not lechatchila. It's 100% not lechatchila. You have to try to avoid it at all costs. But there's certain heterim when someone's stuck on cover up ears. I'm not going to say to mutter to go into a hospital where the doors open up with an eye. No, that's an amatu. So you won't find the person you have to wash your hands, let's say, right? So like amatu, you wash your hands with the sensor. Cover habrius, place give a matter, if you're stuck and there's no other bathroom, the matter that's cover habrius.
Washing hands is not part of that?
No, it's not cover habrius.
Back to the dignity. I mean, most people would wash their hands after going to the washroom, especially if they have to do the...
But that's called self-dignity? I mean, is that called...
Well, based on our definition we started this year with, you would do this
so that's the question.
You would always do it. You would never eat beforehand. You would...
Yeah, but you wouldn't eat before and then something else. That's not self-dignity. There's a big shayla in the poskim. How far it takes self-dignity. If someone's a big istiness, he's marked for every little thing, so that everything becomes covered up is. Not so simple. You have certain places that we see the poskim say that's called covered up is.
It would be dependent on the individual.
Yeah, it is dependent on the individual. But you can't take it, to the furthest extreme.
If you had a choice before Shabbos, to either stay in the hospital like that, like with your relative, stay with them for Shabbos, versus go home for Shabbos.
So it depends why.
Like that.
So it depends why. Depends why you're staying there for. If you're staying there because of the chayla needs you, it's something else. You're staying there for your own yishuv hadas. I don't know if you have had to do that. What if you ever had to put yourself in such a bad state?
Does Bikur Cholim trump these things?
No, I would say not. I would say not. These are big shadows. Sometimes they can answer regular achas, and I'm not the one to answer these questions. These are serious questions. Every situation is different. And to cover a brias, I know come out all the places are making. If you stop the situation, because to cover that brias, the makel with the light. So that goes on automatically, or the toilet flushes automatically, the makel.
It makes sense, but the motion detector is not an issue of covered brias. Motion detector on the street. Right?
Yeah. They don't have the head to take. Go to the hospital to visit somebody, it's not covered brias. They're not going to make all of these things.
Rabbi, I know that you had a meeting with the new hospital, the Humber Hospital. Did anything come to that? You told me that you were going to a meeting or something?
I went to the meeting?
I
know people had a meeting. I didn't follow up on it.
You were part of it.
No. No, it's part of it.
But the
entire hospital.
The entire
everything
hospital
is
had a real issue when we stayed on Good Shabbos.
Yeah, it's a problem. I know the person has to come out.
We had to find one where the light didn't go on automatically, but we were not supposed to go in there. It was for doctors, but we went in there anyway. But other than that, it's a big problem. Any room that you go into, any bathroom you go into, the lights go on and
it's a big problem. The person, I keep on saying, the person would have to come out with something of stock.
Have to
do all these things. It's a big issue. Everything's becoming electrical. I'm saying, the tell by stadium, you open your closet door, the closet light goes on. You open the porch door, the air conditioning goes off automatically.
Right.
What do you do in a hotel like that? You're not going to open the porch door. You're shutting off the air conditioning. You're not going to open the closet door. That's not covered up this. So it's a big problem.
We had that nurse's soul in the hotel, and they had a way to shut it off on Shabbos.
Right, so this is how I stayed, and they came around before Shabbos, and they undid all the motion detectors. But that's because we were big from oil together. But if you're going to tell by yourself, individual, you have major issues.
We've had the exact opposite experience last Shabbos.
They wouldn't do it.
We put up a sign, don't come in. They came in anyway. They cleaned up the room, and the sensors all went back on. Don't come in. Leave us alone.
The sensors are a big issue. I don't know what to say. Okay. Let's move on. So the halacha-theory we gave only because covered up ribs. Sensors, halacha-theory we gave, I don't want to get mixed up and say halacha-theory, the sensors, the only halacha-theory we said was if someone's stuck, goes out of a washroom, then it's covered up ribs, and there's a halacha. Okay, seif base. If you order some alavonim, if rain went onto the stones, and it sunk into the ground, and mishumam liquor, if you could tell the stone is still sticking out, mutter litlon kedeva the kaneach take it out. Mishum seif v'loy mishum teichen. You don't have to worry about the seif. You're pulling something out of the ground, so it's a seif. It's not a problem. V'loy mishum teichen. There's no issue of teichen that you're making the ground loose.
Are these now stones before use or after use? Or does it make a difference?
Well, are these? Doesn't make a difference. No. In seif base, you only said that if it's nicker, then you can tell as much as you want. Here we're saying that, let's say it's haka-muktzah. We said if it's muktzah, you're allowed to move it on Shabbos. Just what you need.
Right.
Then the seif was, you're allowed to move whatever you want if it's rishum or nicker. Now we're going back to the case where it's muktzah. Let's say it was haka-muktzah. You're allowed to take it out. You have another problem of soiser. So it's not a problem, so it's mutter. Gimel, Surah, Sha'alu by Asavim, a rock that grass that are growing on it, mutter l'kanech boy, for the chashina sham yitlashu, you don't have to worry about that maybe the grass that's on top of it will come off, the avim yitlashu, leka isura, the davar she'ein mischavenu, it's a davar she'ein mischavin, and therefore it is mutter. What does that mean? So if you look at the Magen Avraham, mutter l'kanech, with the salsa shma avrav, the spirit light, that's still a munach al oretz, mutter litlo, you're allowed to take it from the ground, and it's not a problem. The aim is zamish from klisha. So there's a whole sugya about Asashen and Rakov. If you have a flower pot, you don't have to pick it up from the ground because you're taking it away from the Yanika, it's being Yanik, it's getting nourishment from the ground. This stone is not a problem because the grass doesn't get its nourishment from the ground, I think, right? The aim is zamish from klisha al yisur d'Rabbanan. So for the Brias, like Gazu, they weren't geyser. Then he says at the end, if you take off the grass from the rock, then the chayiv v'chul alma. Why? Because that's mokum geduloi. It's very important. Allah comes up a lot. People think you're only not allowed to put something on that's attached to the ground. If you have a rock that grows something on it, moss on the grass, you take it off. It's chayiv deraisa. So it's a klisha deraisa.
And that's how it grows.
That's how it grows. So it's a tlisha that writes to take something out and mokum geduloi. I had a shiloh once. Someone brought me a shiloh. They have the sprouts people grow sprouts. So they have containers. It's in the container. You're not allowed to take it out of the container on Shabbos. Because it's cooking-bishul. That's a place where it grows. You take it out of the place where it grows, the chayiv d'oraisa. Anytime you oikir dover mamokim gedula, it's a chayiv d'oraisa of teresh. It doesn't have to be attached to the ground. So that's where it grows. You take it out of the place. It has to be that it grows there. You're not storing it there. It has to be that it's meant to grow there. Now, if people make the sprouts in a certain container,
I think sometimes when you buy sprouts, like in little trays, they actually grow them like that. They're grown in the factory, however, whatever, the greenhouse. They're grown in that, and then they package them in, and then they take them to the store. So if you open up that package, you're actually taking them out.
Right, so that's the shaila. Could it grow in the package by itself, or it has to be in that place where it is in order for it to grow? That was the shaila.
Oh, I see.
If you just put it in that package by itself, would it grow in the package? Well, no, it's the air around it that makes it grow. And they were oikid from there.
Whatever it is.
Right, and they were oikid from there already. So now it's already away from its makom yinika. But if you grow in your house in the container, so that container that's making it grow, so therefore you're not allowed to take it out on Shabbos. That's the issue of the return to Savim, that's right. Chayiv l'kol di'alma, because it's a regular oikid of a. But if a person is using the stone, and he may end up taking off some of the asavim, it's mutter. Why? Because any is chavim. He doesn't mean to do it, and it's not a psikresha. If it'll be a psikresha, it'll be opposite. But it's not a psikresha, and therefore it's mutter. This is the same channel you have a lot. People with paper towels in the thing, you pull it out, and it rips. Right, it's stuck. Paper towels when you have to wash your hands. So you want to take out a paper towel. Now, a lot of times,
individual ones, right?
Individual ones, yeah. A lot of times, when you're pulling it out, it rips.
Accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally it rips.
Yeah.
So you're not ripping on Shabbos. So you have to be careful. So you should be careful, but you're allowed to do it because it's not a situation. So even though it rips, it's either a schava, either a schava is mutter. So you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, as long as it's not for sure it's going to rip. Shaila is, if it's stuck and it's for sure going to rip, that's no question.
Kleenexes that are perforated and connect to each other, you pull them, that is a secret, because every single time you pull it up,
if they're attached, that's a situation.
Problem.
It's for sure a problem.
Kleenex like that, then you for sure should not use it.
Yeah, you should not use it for Shabbos.
You actually have to find the ones that are
fold it into each other.
Yeah, there are certain ones that aren't attached. You have to be careful.
Costco.
Yeah.
I think no name also is just folded.
Yeah, you have to be careful about that.
The complement is folded.
Complement is folded.
Yeah.
It's cheaper is good.
Okay, so the head of here is because it's Adam is Chavin, that's the obsecration. Shiv Dalit, they tell the regular of Adam and the Kanechboy, you shouldn't take globs of dirt. Regular Adam. The Kanechboy, if it's any really kinuach, fish in the frachas, falls apart. Therefore, you shouldn't use it. Also, the Kanech with cheres, you're not allowed to use a kli cheres, which is an earthenware kli. A full of b'chad, which is shakana, it's sharp. Shaviyadak, shinak, akeshta. It's gonna rip. It's gonna ruin the hairs over there. I'm not sure exactly what it is over here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not sure what the Messias is over here. So you weren't allowed to use it in Shabbos.
For good reason.
For good reason, yeah.
Me'ayim,
it's a good reason.
If you had a rock, so they're smooth. But once it's smooth, there's no sakana. So therefore, there's no issue of sakana. It's better to use the ozne acheres because it could be used for other things also, so therefore it's not muktzah. It's not muktzah to begin with, therefore you're not to use it.
Is this something that happened on Shabbos? It's the Shivrei Kalim on Shabbos or Lav Dafka?
No, Lav Dafka. Before Shabbos. Before Shabbos.
So your person just kept the ear of the cleat.
Yeah, they used to use it. Yeah, they used to use it. They used to use it to cover kalim. Even not just the ear of the kli, even any part of the kli that would use to cover kalim.
In this case, the ozne acheres, right?
Yeah, only because it's chalak, because it's smooth.
Right.
But any part of the kli,
like the handle.
Yeah, but any part of the Klicheres, we had before, the Klicheres that break on Shabbos,
right?
You gotta use it. It's not muktzah because you could use the pieces, the chasas poi piyakelim.
Right. I was just trying to understand, is this a chiddush that it broke on, it's a shivrei kelim of Shabbos, or not that?
No, not that. It broke before Shabbos and short it's mutter. Even if it broke on Shabbos, could it still be used. So it's mutter. Now, if you look at the from Dalet, the Alpha Graph, the Yeshwachas, the Kshafim, the Chash Kshafim, Kashkasa Siman, Gimel, Sifir Alpha, Kamotem, Odef, Lekanek, Boy Me'atzror. And the reason is because Kshafim is not Shchiach. Today, there's no Kshafim really.
Is that like Shega?
Adam sent me a text. Sorry, let me go back to him.
What does that mean?
No, that's correct. What was this question again?
What does it mean?
No, you find the beginning. Yeah, you find in the beginning of in Shulchan Aruch, Siv Gimel Taka, that using cheres, Kshafim would stop the cheres. People who used to use Kshafim, witchcraft,
magic.
They used to imagine. They used to apply it to cheres. And if you use the cheres, so the witchcraft will end up being mazakim. That's what it was. Yeah, today you don't have it anymore, so no problem. Yeah. Tell him I'm sorry I never got back to him. He sent me a night, and I picked up the next day, and I forgot about it. Yeah, and it's not after the Oznei Kli. Any part of the Klicheres is a problem. The whole model of the Oznei Klicheres is that it's smooth. So now, even though there's no Kshash anymore, but there's a Kshafim, says the Magen Avraham, it's better to use it over a tzrar, because Kshafim is not so shchir today. How about if you have tzrar v'asavim? If you have a stone, asavim, you can nech v'asavim, you better to use the asavim, and heimalachim if they're wet, ablivation if they're dry, aim kanchim, you're not allowed to use them, if neishem chodim, or chatchen if they're basar, they're sharp, and they end up cutting you. So if we don't use them, better to use a tzrar, I guess the tzrar is more smooth than the hard, dried out grass.
But leaves would be better.
Huh?
If you have moist leaves, it would be better.
Yeah. So the moist, it's better than rocks. Says the Magen Avraham, Meshuvim Feisha Chodin, Tzarchim, the Siman Gimel, Chosam Tam Feisha Kanek, Davar Shal by Shirav Leisha. That's what this means either. The halacha over there, Siv Gimel, that anything that the fire has an effect on it, if you use it, it affects the body. I'm not sure why. And here is a different reason why kashrut amir bekulin emi kan from a kruvish lakana part of the table with a connect with our child boy mashani kinuk kemak amina mashma deshar asavim emi chatchen abasa. All other asavim don't cut the basa, the flesh, and therefore it's mutter. So he says with the Torah here, Magen Mishnah Perchavav Kosav the Istagas Ibcha Palacham Emi Kanchem with wet ones you can use it. Hashir Hashinayim Meveshim Kanchem Ayasham Tzarachim. I don't know the exact materials of all these cases of the Magen Avraham, but it seems like there's different reasons why you can't use it. Now, Mutter Little Tzror, you get it out, you're allowed to take a rock from a thick wall, ain't a nicker, Venera Kolkach. Here's another problem. I'm talking about taking a rock to wipe yourself with. Now, you want to take a rock from a wall. Now, the problem is the seif. It's not very muktzah. It's seif. You're not allowed to do seif on Shabbos. You're not allowed to destroy something on Shabbos. So he says from a thick wall that's not nicker, when you take it off, there's no issue seif. Av mageder dak, from a thin wall, also. Why? So oiser neker v'havik seif. Yamso shloimo. Says the Magen Avraham, Aval, the Tur, Choshen Mishpat, Simulation and Dalet, Kosav, Little, and then a Tzrar, Mashma, Minasada. You're only allowed to take a Tzrar, a rock, from the field. Aval, Minageder, from any type of wall, Osir. Because even though it's a thick wall, still pulling out a stone from even a thick wall is a sign of Saisir. Rambam, Sheshmita, Full of Shabbos, Ma'amilon, the Spirulay, the Minageder, Osir, Little, Rak misada mutter. Only from a field it's mutter. You have this a lot of times. There are certain walls, at least where I grew up, that there was certain walls that had like little pebbles in them. Very small pebbles. The kids will play with it. It's also to pull it out. Even though it's not nicker and you can't tell anymore when it's not there anymore, taking off even a small piece, a small pebble from the wall is the issue of seif on Shabbos. Okay, Siv Vav. When Kanchen b'Shabbos, b'asavim lachem. You're allowed to use moist asavim, afilhem b'chabarim, even though they're attached to the ground. L'vash lo yizizam, you shouldn't move them. U'mishum mishtamish b'mechuber leka, t'le'amru ela b'ilan avalah b'yerech. So this seif has two parts to it. We'll get to the first part soon. Let's go to the second part first. First part says you're allowed to use asavim lachim, even though they're attached to the ground, but you're not allowed to move them. See how that's possible, not to move them. We'll get to that in a second. But there's no problem with using it. I think we've had this before, that there's an issa hishtamshus b'mechubar l'karka. You're not allowed to use a tree on Shabbos.
Like to hang something on.
Yeah, without moving it. Not just moving it. Regular tilta muktzah is an issa to move. Ilan, mechubar l'karka is also hishtamshus. You're not allowed to use it. You're not allowed to leave it on a tree, tie your shoe, even though the tree is not moving. This is hishtamshus be'ilan.
But there the issue is because shemoneh-esrei, no?
No. It's not shemoneh-esrei. There is a power shemoneh-esrei. That's why also the hishtamsh.
Right.
Also the hishtamsh because of shemoneh-esrei.
Right.
But that's only by trees.
Yeah.
So now you're not allowed to touch a tree. You're not allowed to use a tree b'chal Shabbos. You're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to use it. You're not allowed to use a tree on Shabbos. So here, the asavim says the mechaber it's not a problem. Why? Because the only issue was from 3 tefachim and up. That's what we'll see when we get to Shinam B'Ches. Shinam V'Omer, the word to Siman. You're not allowed to use a tree, but Yerakis, things that are on the ground, you're allowed to use, even though it's mechubar l'karka. There's no gzeira on using something that's mechubar l'karka that's less than 3 tefachim high. So therefore, the asavim, you're allowed to use it, right? There's no issa b'shtamshus, b'vat shelo yizizam. Now what does that mean? It says the Magen Avram, b'vat shelo yizizam, shehem muktzim. It's muktzim. So you're right, there's no problem with b'shtamshus, you're allowed to use it, but tiltul is also. You're not allowed to be metaltal muktzah on Shabbos. Says the Magen Avram, that shelo yizizam, shehem muktzim.
What about covered ears though? What happens to covered ears?
Who says it?
Well, that's why they are banning them to be metaltal.
So you know why it can't be metaltal the muktzah? Yeah. I don't know. Let's catch it. Let's see. Maybe we'll see someone speaks about that. Unless maybe saying it's better to do it that way. Okay, so let's see. The Musa says over here, Shehei Muktzin, Makaneach B'lei Hazaza. You wipe this out without moving it. The Muktzah Mutter B'Negiyah. Muktzah you're allowed to touch. V'ksasu Rochak B'Mitzias. The Ayin Pri Megadim. Says the Musa to use it without moving it is Rochak B'Mitzias. It's far from possibilities. Right? So he doesn't understand what the Mechaber is talking about over here. How's it possible to use it without moving it? Grass. It says, I am Pri Megadim. The Pri Megadim says over here, if you look in the Pri Megadim, he says, what's the heter? The heter is, because I'm not being metaltal it, we learned already, tiltal would only be a dying. If you move muktzah to a different part of your body, it's mutter. So here you're using the asavim, but you're not being metaltal with your hands. It's tiltal begufoy. So vashla yiziza means you shouldn't move it with your hand. Look at the Eshel of Rav, Sifkat and Vav. Ava mechanech behan begufoy tiltal begufoy shari. So the Pri Megadim says, here is no problem because it's called tilta b'gufa. So that's how I explained the Magen Avram why it's mutter to be metaltal it. Right? The Vashla Yizizim, you shouldn't move it. How's it possible Matthias? You're automatically going to move it. So what it means is, the Vashla Yizizim, you shouldn't move it with your hands. That's what it means. With your goof, you're allowed to move it. The Mishnah Berurah is down over here, a whole new shot in the seif, maybe because of your kasha. Mishnah Berurah is down over here. Shalei Zizam, Hainu, Shalei Yishmai Aisam Mokam Chibura Mishum Klisha. It doesn't mean you shouldn't move it. It means you shouldn't detach it. Because now already it's Taylor. So this is the Raisa. So maybe it's bothered with your kasha. I have to check the Shabbos inside. This is the Taylor Shabbos shot. He says that what it means is you shouldn't move it. It doesn't mean move it while it's attached. Don't move it from its place where it's attached on the bottom. Because then it's already this a tlisha that you can't do. But otherwise you're allowed to move it. When someone's walking on grass, you're allowed to walk on grass on Shabbos. Are you moving the grass while you're walking?
With your hand.
Huh?
Your foot, your body.
So the head there is, it's tilted on that side, tilted on the goof, I mean.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not allowed to play with grass on Shabbos.
With your hand?
With your hands. You're sitting on the grass, and you're playing with it with your hands. The chayyur should be also. To play with the grass on Shabbos should be also. It's muktzah. Now, Tosfos Shabbos and other achronim say over here that it's not muktzah. Grass is not muktzah. Why? Because animals eat it. Therefore, it's not muktzah at all. And therefore, they say the pshat here is Shalei Ziza means you shouldn't take it out, rip it out from its place, because they hold it's not muktzah. But most of the places today say that our grass today is muktzah, because it's not meant for animals to eat. It's meant to be there for niceness. So therefore, it could be, if you're sitting on the grass, you're allowed to sit there, you're allowed to move it with your feet, that you could do. But to play with it with your hands, it could be it's muktzah. It could be it's muktzah to move grass on Shabbos. When you push yourself up, to get up from the ground, we don't see anybody asking there for some reason.
It's not in the scholar.
Huh?
You want to pick yourself up, you don't want to push the bus down.
Yeah, but it's facial. Throw around for it to happen. Let's a second to it. We don't find anybody that asks us the question is why it happens. We hold the mindset today that grass is muktzah on Shabbos. To sit on it, to move it, is not with your feet, is not a problem, it's still to the goof for you. But to move it with your hands, can be a problem.
Yeah, he says.
Huh?
בזמנים ישנים רגילים להשתמש בעשבים בקינוח על ידי kashrut-kosher, das hat gone on from Sermon Arbach, and Rav Yosef, she did it kemutza.
So grass is muktzah. Yeah, so grass is muktzah. So you're allowed to sit in it, you're allowed to walk in it because it's still to the goof for you. The question is, are you allowed to put your hand in it to push yourself up, to get up? Interesting question. I'm not going to answer it. This is not for this week. But you have to find grass anywhere this week. So you can push yourself up. And I'm actually going to ask, why taka is a mutter? Why should a mutter push yourself up on grass if grass is a muktzah on Shabbos? Okay, let's look at Mr. Moshe Siman.